could bring some friends and have a reunion. They were from Laos, Cambodia, and most recently they were refugees in Thailand. They were from the Hmong tribe, H-M-O-N-G. They cooperated with the Americans during the Vietnam War. And if pilots got shot down or people got caught, they would go in and try to rescue them. And they cooperated with the U.S. Well, when the U.S. pulled out, the communists tried to kill out their tribe because they cooperated. So the U.S. let 100,000 of these people come in the early 1980s. So in 1983, many of these people still had not found all their family members to know if they're dead or alive. Well, these college kids were reached by Christian Missionary Alliance churches, CMA. And they heard there was such a thing as camping in the U.S. They decided they wanted to try to do that and have a reunion. So they did not notice the water because where they grew up, their houses were on stilts. In rainy season, the water just ran under their place. It made no difference to them. They'd just come out of refugee camps, so they weren't worried about that. Well, when they arrived, the college kids had prepared the menus, and it was wonderful things like you have in college, you know, pizza and spaghetti and meatballs and hamburgers and all these good things. But unexpected, for us anyway, were all the parents and grandparents that came with the kids to camp. And that normally doesn't happen, you know, but this is a reunion thing, and they wanted to see who they could find and all. Well, the first night, none of the people older than college hardly ate anything because we weren't sure why. But we had a little meeting afterwards, and they said, you know, all these older people have to eat rice every day. Well, we went into North Platte that night and the next morning and bought all the rice that there was in North Platte, which they ate by noon that day. They were just very hungry. But they also said, if you would send somebody to Denver, there's an Asian food market there, and you can buy rice by the 100-pound bags. So we called a friend in Denver and said, go to this Asian food store. This is the kind of rice they want. And they got it there by that night, and we cooked up the rice. And they said, oh, what a help. What a help. This is good. Now, an interesting thing. They later said, about 2 days later, do you mind if we help show you how to cook the rice? You're really not getting it done the way we like it. So they came in the kitchen, the older people, and started cooking. So we're working along with them, with these refugees, many of whom didn't even speak English. But food service is something you can do together, even if you can't speak the same language. Well, a wonderful thing happened. We'd been praying for 100 people to accept Christ that summer before the flood came. When the flood came, about 17 is all that had accepted Christ. For several weeks, we were debating, should we keep praying for 100? We're flooded out. It's going to happen. You know, we can't. Nobody ever took the thermometer down that said 100 people. That was stuck at 17 for weeks. Well, here's the thing. Many of these people that came were animists. They worship rocks, trees, things like that. But the friends that were running the camp were Christians. And they were saying, let's, they knew that they wanted to reach these kids for Christ. Well, there was so many of them that we had picnic tables out in the parking lot to eat, and it started raining one day. Well, they were announcing on the PA, please pray that the rain quits so we can eat supper together tonight. It was going to be kind of a banquet thing, you know. Well, the animists were praying. It's like, well, you're the Christians, it's your God. If it is going to happen, we're here to see, you know, pouring rain. I looked out at one point and thought, we've got to start setting up inside the dining hall, tear the chapel down, make this all work. And suddenly I realized the rain was going sideways. In other words, a big wind had come up. I peeked outside. It was blowing over the chairs. It was that strong wind. But I also noticed a hole was opening in the clouds. That was like, oh my goodness, you know, everybody's pointing. The hole is getting bigger. The wind dried the tables. We ran out with towels, started drying out, stacking things up. And by the time we were finished, There was lightning and rain all around, especially on that side. A big hole in the sky, sun shining through. Fantastic. They ate outside on fairly dry tables when they had the call for salvation that night. How many people accept the Lord?
83.
Exactly.
83 people.
Exactly. That's a miracle.